The U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy is calling for a new warning label on social media. His proposal is receiving enthusiastic support. The New York Post editorial board with this headline: absolutely slap a Surgeon General's warning on social media ASAP. Dr. Murthy said this morning.
And there's very broad public support for addressing the harms of social media. If we don't, then one more year is going to go by where our kids are struggling, where they're being exposed to these harms on social media. And the rising rates of suicide, depression, and anxiety we're seeing among our kids is something that should alarm all of us and push us to take action as soon as possible.
A Wall Street Journal investigation finds a large number of social media influencers are young girls. But their audience is 92% adult men. And many of these men reportedly have a sexual interest in children. One opinion writer calls it vile. She also asks questions. Why are parents allowing their children to be influencers in the first place? That's among the things they want to know. Tommy Lahren, Outkick host. Tommy.
Well, Harris, the idea of putting a label on social media, it sounds good in theory, but I wonder if it's little more than a worthless virtue signal. I think what this is really going to come down to is parenting. Parents need to teach their children that while they have access to the world via the internet and social media, the world also has access to them. And it is disturbing the number of child predators and pedophiles that are lurking in the shadows of the interweb and social media to find their prey, to communicate with their prey. So this is a very real thing, but I do believe it all comes down to parenting. Parents have to give their kids and their teenagers the tools to navigate social media in a healthy way. The reality is there's going to be teenagers on social media. They're going to use it. They're going to communicate with their friends. Some of them are going to be influencers. That's the day and age that we live in. But parents, not the federal government, are going to have to be the backstop for this.
A Washington Examiner opinion piece with this headline: social media needs more than a warning label, arguing raising parents' awareness of the harms of social media is a worthy goal. But parents, at the same time, should be given the tools to monitor, control, and limit their children's social media use. It references laws in states such as Florida, Georgia, and Utah, which require parents' permission to create accounts, an outright ban on social media for children under the age of 14, and even a social media curfew for kids under the age of 18. So they're meeting your idea of better parenting on this issue with some tools for those parents in at least 3 states. And I would say this: we had all the cards stacked against us when the brainiacs decided that the best way to teach our kids would be to stick them in lockdown on devices and to expose them extra to devices in general and to that addiction of having no eye contact and always on that device. Tommy.
Yeah, absolutely. There are still a lot of parents out there, and I understand that it can be frustrating to be a parent, but there are a lot of parents that get their kids started on social media or on the internet or on a screen at a very young age because they use it as a babysitting tool. So it has to start at a young age. If you're getting your kids on a screen so that you don't have to deal with them, then don't be surprised when they're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old and they are hooked on that screen and you wonder what happened. Well, you got to make sure that you're a parent first. Don't put the screen in front of them as a babysitting tool, and that will go a long way in preventing the addiction.
Well, conservatives are dragging New York Magazine for a cover story titled, "How Did Republican Women End Up Like This?" The outlet teased the article with a post saying, quote, "The surprising evolution of the Republican woman, their wrath, sweetness, strength, and subservience to the MAGA right observed." Many conservative women are calling the article misogynistic and hypocritical. Social media is on fire over it. One user wrote, "Do you know any Republican women? I mean, in your family or circle of friends, because it seems like you are lazy and narrow-minded enough to form strong opinions about all of us based on a few politicians and media personalities." All of that was a post. Another says, "I'm a Republican woman. Many of my friends are Republican women. None of us look like this, nor are we subservient. This is garbage." Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn with this.
The left absolutely requires submission of women to their ideology. They cannot stand strong, conservative, independent-minded women who really like being female. who really like being a mom, who really like being a woman. That does not fit their template.
Tommy, you know, we read this article for Outnumbered days ago, and I got to tell you, it does not celebrate women at all. It just tears down the ones who are not like the author of this.
And I would also wonder, Harris, if some of these journalists that are doing these hit pieces on conservative women actually take the time to talk to conservative women or Republican women, because if they did, they would discover that conservative Republican women come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. We see that every single day. Of course, we see that in the halls of Fox News as well. But this goes beyond that. I've been asking for the last several years, where are the feminists? Because we've heard for so long that feminists stand for female empowerment and women supporting women. Well, we know, going back to the Women's March in 2017, that pro-life women and conservative women were told to stay home, that they didn't belong there. And now we're being told that we can have biological men in women's sports and that's okay. So what I feel like this is all boiling down to is the feminist movement is really just about abortion at the end of the day. It's not really about female empowerment, lifting up women, showing that women have various voices and decisions and minds of their own. So I would encourage the leftist media to maybe talk to some conservative women. They might find a whole world they're not used to.
All right. They should start with you, Tommy. I volunteer you. Thank you.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.